Hello, mammals. Welcome back to an impromptu part two of me yapping about my Pokemon game collection. I originally thought this was going to be one video, and then I spent half an hour talking about the Switch games. So, let's see. Today I'm recording this all on the same day. We're going to be talking about the 3DS games and maybe the DS games if there's time. If not, it's going to be a separate video. So let's start with what I think is the first Pokemon 3DS game I got. Boom. Oh no, damn. Pokemon Super Pokemon Rumble. I got this on my 13th birthday or something. I'm not sure when. And one of my main memories is the day I got this and like Paper Mario Sticker Star. I got really ill. Well, not really. It wasn't like seriously ill, but I got proper scuffed up for a bit. And I played this and Paper Mario Sticker Star. Bad game. Um, during during that time, the Pokemon designs are cute. Of course, it's all based in Gen 5, which is fun. This is obviously black and white era, despite being on the 3DS. Um, and it's an extremely simple game. The game's been through some. I lent it to my brother, and it came back like this, and it doesn't work anymore. I wonder what happened. There's really not much to say because it's probably been over 10 years since I played this game. But for what it is, simple little, I don't even want to call it beat 'em up. It's just a button masher, really, isn't it? Oh my god. So, first instruction manual we've got. Oh, and it's fully colored. I do. Uh, I am hoping my brother will buy me a new copy. It's not that I particularly love it, but like he broke it. So like I do want to kind of. There's times I'm like, oh, maybe I want to play for Rumble, button mashing. Obviously, can't shiny hunt in it like you see with like Absol Blogs is shiny week Rumble weekend. But yeah, it's nice seeing a full color manual, isn't it? Seeing like a Gen 5 game like this on 3DS really made me wonder when I was younger, like why it wasn't black and white 3DS games. And obviously, they came out in Japan before before the 3DS really came out. These are really quite charming. I think they're cute. Of course, they did do the mobile game, which I don't think lasted long. And from what I understand, Rumble ain't really much of a thing anymore. Just too bad the designs are cute, and I would like to see new Pokemon in this kind of art style, but it tends to be somewhat a bit more of a throwaway side, game, really, isn't it? And there's Pokemon Global Link. I mean, go to the Dream World. That's nuts. Oh, the old Pokemon website. I remember when it was like this. It was quite nice. Of course, it's not bad now, though, is it? Oh my god! Wait, there's plenty of things to talk about. So actually, I'll talk about this now since it's here. I might forget for black and white, but just try to call my point out one of his videos. The global link really wasn't up for that long, especially for like black and white too. But I have distinct memories using it. You doing little mini games, looking around. It reminded me very much of like Mossy Monsters or like Penguin. At the time, you have a little world to go around in and mess about in. It was a bit of fun. You can get Pokemon with dream abilities or hidden abilities. And I remember distinctly getting a Houndour. Can't remember what his ability would have been. The Zoroark movie. Damn, actually, we did have this promo card. It's in tatters now. But yeah, I remember seeing this. It was always really hyped to me when they showed off for Pokemon the gen before it came out, and they kind of stopped doing this. Oh, that's 2011. That's a while ago, man. But I do have pretty much all the Pokemon movies you can get physically. I need to watch them more. The Pokédex 3D, now defunct. Of course, the whole eShop is defunct. But I remember getting this when I was younger because I thought it was just so cool having all the Pokemon in 3D and like having like the official names being said by a voice, so we knew how they were pronounced in like just one tidy place, at least for Gen 5 Pokemon. And having to collect them. I remember I had a teacher I knew who was friendly with who also played these kind of games, but I didn't have internet at the time. So I lent them my 3DS so they could download this app for me. And even though it was barely anything to do in it, I spent a lot of time. But it's so cool. I think I have it on my old like original little Galaxy Black 3DS, which is broken. I've always kind of wanted to get it fixed and then look for the. Love this game. I'm not a massive Mario guy, but I remember seeing this when it came out and thinking 3D Mario on the go. Like you don't understand, it was so cool. Mario Kart 7, not a great Mario Kart, because you can't just do free play. Oh look, we're talking about that game. We're talking about Mario right now, but you know what I mean. I remember getting the 3DS on launch because I did. My parents were uh, nice enough to do that for me and my brother, and there was barely anything to play on it. It really was. It wasn't amazing. I got Street Fighter 4 Ultra or something. Uh, Fun fact about me: I'm terrible at fighting games. Not the only reason I picked Street Fighter is I had the highest score at the time or the highest recommendation for the start. But yeah, early 3DS, but not a great time. But anyway, now to the main series games. Bam, Pokemon Y. This game was massive at the time when it came out. Black and White 2 was great. But here we were, right? I believe it was January 8th. It was shown off. I had a drum lesson that day, and I was late because the only thing I was looking at was Pokemon X and Y information. It was the first Pokemon game in 3D. It was massive at the time. It was major. Of course, now we look back on it, and there's a lot of issues with like Pokemon or the models in 3D, but at the time it was massive with all the mega evolutions and being able to run around a 3D world. It was so important at the time. Um, there's a lot of stories of X. Is there? Yeah. Well, like X and Y, I poured a lot of time into this. If you go back in my old videos, you will find videos of me shiny hunting in this game. I got the first shiny Aplom in X and Y, I believe, in the world on YouTube. Which was a lot of fun. That's like my most viewed video ever. It's got like 1.1 thousand views. With someone asking about trade it for a level 100 Blaziken in the comments. That's fun. But like, I poured so much time into this because, which is funny because honestly, there's not a lot to do after you beat the game with Air Story. Team Flare probably are my least favorite team. Main team. I mean, this team called Macrocosmos. They aren't amazing, but Team Flare never really jived with me overall. There's really no post game. We now know through leaks that there was supposed to be a whole Southern Kalos, but I spent a lot of time in the French Safari. I also, I spent a lot of time shiny hunting, as you will see the copious amounts of shiny hunting videos I have on this channel from Pokemon Y specifically. I remember the day I got this game. We had a car at the time, but we weren't able to take the car. This one wasn't feeling well, so we walked to a local town center, and all I could do was just think about this game, and I got it, and I spent 10-12 hours in it immediately. I start with Chespin, and it was the only Pokemon I had on me for a bit, so I got to the early game before the Santaloon gym, I believe. There was this Riolu that like one shot me with a counter, and I was like, whoa. I do think Kalos overall is like, it's like, oh no, X and Y has its issues, right? But like, I think there's a reason people are so excited for ZA, and I don't think it's just because it's been so long. I think Kalos is a really, really nice region. I think if you actually like look at the locales, the music of it all. Just like Lumio City, it was massive. I still get lost in it because I'm directionally challenged. But Lumios was massive, and like the theme is great. Route 4's theme is absolutely stellar, right? And then what else? Livier City. Can we talk about Livier City a minute? That is like one of my absolute favorite towns in the whole of Pokemon. This kind of mystical little fairy forest, right? It's the vibes are impeccable. I think impeccable is the word. The route right after it, where it's stuck in like an eternal autumn, right? And then Denimil Town with the big windmill. It's a nice set piece, right? Snowbell City, an amazing theme, right? The grandioseness of the Elite Four, the vibes of it all, even if their teams weren't great, right? Like I played through Pokemon Eternal Y, I think that was, on like insane mode, like I think a couple of years ago now. Oh my god, but really helped me further appreciate Kalos as a region. Is such a wonderful place. And of course, we got the fairy type. The fairy type is like my three fairy types are grass, fairy, and ghost. And I'm just fruity. But I really, really love the fairy type. As soon as I saw Sylveon, I fell in love with the little thing. I remember when X and Y were being leaked, and if anyone knows this YouTuber now, he doesn't upload anymore, but the one integral, he uploaded a video about Gumi, and I fell in love on the spot with Gumi. Still adore Gudra to this day. I mean, I mentioned in the previous video that I used Hisui and Gudra in my playthrough of Legends. Like, Gudra is just So cute. Introducing the Mega Evolutions, right? We got some really cool ones. You know, like Mega Gengar is really cool. You know, so I use this Charizard on my team. My team, so I forgot my team multiple points in the previous video, but this time, oh my god, I think I actually genuinely forgot. So it's Chestnut, Charizard, Lucario, Aurorus, Sylveon, and Gudra. See, one thing I really like about this team I've developed is that I think it really shows off the Kalos region well. So you got your two stars. By the way, immediately fell in love with Chespin. Quilladin is underappreciated. He's just a dopey big guy, right? And Chestnut, like I've always liked more defensive, tanky things. So of course, there's Chestnut, who's also really underappreciated. By the way, can we talk about that? Not now, but maybe in the future. Um, so Chestnut, of course, being the starter. And then Charizard being the secondary one you get given, probably because they were trying to get a bunch of people back into Pokemon. And of course, then because I believe Black and White were like some of the worst selling Pokemon generations ever, which is really unfortunate because they're really good games, which we will talk about maybe in another video. I'm not sure if it's going to be this one. Anyway, so we got Charizard with its Mega Evolution, the kind of showcase of the Kalos region, and then there was Aurorus, who it's just so pretty. It's so pretty. I know its type's terrible. I know it's 4 times weak to Steel and Fighting, but it's gorgeous. And of course, it's the fossil you get given. Right, I might lower this camera just a little. There we go. And then, of course, the Lucario you get gifted. Sylveon being the kind of the poster child for fairy types. Fun fact about my Sylveon, it's about as bad as could have gotten. So, well, like, it being male is not a bad thing, but it's funny because it's kind of like the inverse of what you're expecting because it's quite pretty, girly. But no, I just had a little Twinkie Sylveon. And it was also adamant, which is quite possibly that's up attack, down special attack. Sylveon's stats skew more to special defense, special attack. It was a terrible nature. So I've got this buff Sylveon. And then, which is again post child for the very type new thing introduced. Anyone remembers that really cool art of Sylveon beating the hell out of a Hydreigon in the moonlight? Super cool. And then, of course, Lucario also shows off Mega Evolution, you battle Karina. And then Gudra, who's a pseudo legendary. In terms of like theming, I think it's just a really good encapsulation of Kalos. So that's something I really enjoy about it. And how could we forget the best character design in fiction got designed? Hex Maniac. I'm in love with that character. I love it so much. It's immaculate. You say those words a lot. But no, X and Y, they do hold a lot of memories for me. I really got a video of me going over my completed national decks in that game. I did as much as I really could. Today, I can't remember though if I got the max trainer card. I have to have a look at that. If not, I'll have to go do that. But overall, my thoughts on X and Y and Kalos is, of course, there's nostalgia there, right? You know, I was an early teenager, I believe, when these games came out. So, of course, there's growing up with them, using a full team. Again, I think this is the second time I used a proper made team, first time being my Black 2. But, I've done so much in this game. This might also be one of my 99959 playtime Pokemon games. I've spent a disgusting amount of time in it. A lot of shiny hunting, a lot of memories. I think there's Spain with me, I think, and I played it a lot there as well. It wasn't Morocco. It was one of the two. We're not rich. We saved a lot of money to go to different places, so don't get that impression. But, X and Y, they've got a lot of issues. There's a lot more I would have loved to have seen in these games, and that's why I'm excited for ZA. I'm also worried because it only takes place in Lmao City. Kalos needs to get a second look around, a proper full region look around, where we explore more of it. And of course, people really like the anime for this season. I'm, as you can see by the username of the channel, I genuinely adore Lola with all my heart and soul. So Kalos is beaten out by a Lola in my heart. But of course, the X and Y anime is very cool. I understand why people like it. It's a proper shonen. Quickly, as we've been doing for all these, let's have a look at the inserts. So it's the first little manual. It's not much here. The PSS. Why don't we talk about how like amazing the PSS was? It's perfect. It's literally perfect, and it still kind of annoys me that they've never tried to go back to. I mean, like they can't really do on Switch though, can they? Because this is built around the bottom screen. But like they got it perfect the first time. Again, adore Lola, But the Festival Plaza wasn't it. It was not the Wave Man. The PSS, it was really good. If we starters, then teaching you how to play the game. It does have quite a dull battle, bottom like battle screen thing, but yeah. Of course, Kalos also have issues with all the rivals. Right, none of them super stand out, and that is an issue which again. A Z could have helped with, but we didn't get it, so I don't know. There's much point in complaining. Of course, when X and Y came out, you got a Torchic. Maybe this was already hinting at the Aurus to come, or Aurus, right? But everything X and Y at Pokemon.co.uk. Malamar. Malamar was such a fun one. So when I was in high school, there was this one kid I was helping evolve his Inkay. I was like, hey, you need to turn the 3DS upside down. He's like, okay, do it. I'm like, okay, I did it. And then his 3DS blue screened. I didn't even know the 3DS could do that. And then, let me tell you, he was about a millisecond from screaming when the game just popped back up. The relief I felt. And I believe his Inkay did evolve. But but yeah, that's a fun little story I got from Malamon. He gave me a full-on heart attack. And the guide, and then showing you how to get the Torchic. When does this run out? Does it say? Am I maybe just blind? Oh, well, no, I dropped it. You can't find Torchic with Alolan for normal gameplay. Kind of annoying you couldn't get more Blaziken Knights. So if you want to use competitively, you had to get it through through this event. And at the time, then you had to spend another £30 to get extra ones. I mean, you could breed it from that point. Oh, it says up there, I'm illiterate apparently. January 15th, 2014. So not a whole lot of time really, because obviously it came out October. A little more insert, extra stuff. Bad game, heart. Uh, Sorry if you hear people shouting in the back. It can be a bit of a loud house. I'll try and yap over it. So it's like one of the only Pokemon Mission Dungeon games I haven't played. Spent a chunk of time in New Leaf. I'm not really built for Animal Crossing though. I lose attention quite easily, unless it's like Pokemon or something. Kid Icarus is fun. Fire Emblem Awakening is one of the only Fire Emblem games I played, and I really enjoyed it for some reason at the time. I say for some reason as if it's bad. It's not bad. It's just that I'm very stupid when it comes to tactics. I was just on this one level for like an hour trying out all these different, like you're in a circle formation. And I thought, okay, and I tried out so many different tactics. And it took me like an hour, man, to realize that like I just didn't need to move at all. Not one of my finer moments. So after X and Y, I only have Y. Probably should have picked up X. I had X a while ago, actually, like years ago, and I traded it for my friend's Leaf Green. This is before Pokemon Games were stupidly priced, which we will be talking about in later videos. Next, we have Alpha Sapphire, and of course, you can see I pre-ordered this game, and this was the only time. This was the only time I've done a midnight launch for a Pokemon game. So again, as a teenager, so my parents had to come to the shop with me and get it. I remember it was pitch black. We were in a town in the middle of the night, and my mum kind of just decided that she was fed up with waiting, and she just went to the front of the line and got the games for us. I don't even know why they allowed her to do it, but we got those games and we went home. This game being announced meant like a lot to me. So I wasn't allowed to play video games actually until I was 7. My parents wanted me to have a normal childhood because they knew I was going to be obsessed with games. And lo and behold, I was. Didn't actually get my first mainline Pokemon game until I was 9, which was Pokemon Emerald. So Gen 3 meant like a lot to me. And so I remember the day it got announced. I got home from school. I just laid there because like there was a lot of like April Fool's stuff as well, and I hadn't quite recovered from those because I fell for a couple. But then I see these, and I screamed. I was like, "Oh my god!" Like proper, like I was going to yell that loud, right? Just these games being announced, so finally getting the remix. Because like whenever anything, do you know how now people are like Gen 5 remakes, Gen 5 remakes, when it doesn't make sense, since like there's kind of there is a pattern. I swear, my autistic ass mind notices these patterns, and it's a pattern. If you think about it, a remake tends to be on the gen that is double that of its original gen. Not counting Gen 1 and 3, because, you can really avoid it at that point. But think of it. Gen 2 was remade in Gen 4. Gen 3 was remade in Gen 6. And Gen 4 was remade in Gen 8. So it kind of bugs me in a sense. I mean, we got Legends now, so we got Kalos, but that's not a remake. That's Legends. That's a separate thing, right? But like, I don't know, it tilts me a little that people are constantly going on black and white remakes when even at the time when we had just gotten um Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl. People are like Gen 5, Gen 5. Will this be Gen 5? Will this be like no? It's not going to be Gen 5. We got to wait till Gen 10. So next gen, I believe we'll get Gen 5, but not now. Anyway, rant aside, these games. So, what are my thoughts on these games, and how does it stack up to the original games, having grown up on them and caring so much about them? I would say, well, they have their strengths and uh, weaknesses, right? First of all, can we talk about how nice this case is? It's this nice blue case. It's very wonderful. Really love it. There's a lot for a game to live up to, right? When being compared to like a game you grew up with, and I feel like it does a lot of really good things. But I think ultimately, just because like I can't like deny it. And nostalgia is of course involved. There's those rose tinted glasses. They make anything from the past look better by comparison, right? But I do think there are some like genuine reasons for why I do prefer the originals overall. But I still think these are really fun. One is the tile set is kind of weird at points. So if you look at the ocean, you notice that it's like a really reused tile set in the game, as in like the ocean doesn't look flowy enough. It kind of just looks blocky in a sense. And some of these things might be nitpicks, but when it comes to like such nostalgia fueled craze, it does get to these kind of things to me. Um, One thing that really kind of threw me off and I was kind of ick when I played it was that there was loading zones. So let's say you go from Petalburg to Route 104, which has, by the way, one of the best themes in Pokemon. I love Route 104. If you haven't already clicked on a video from this ridiculous yapping, you should go listen to how in Route 104 from either the original games or the remakes. I love it so much. Anyway, it's a bit of a loading zone, which kind of took away a bit from me the world because it kind of made I feel like these are like just two separate rooms, if that makes sense, rather than being one interconnected world. Um, but there's of course a lot of things I like about Oris. The music's great. It introduces Zinnia, who has an amazing, amazing theme. They remixed the Battle Frontier theme, which again is so good. The new Mega Evolutions, right? We got Mega Sableye, which is a funny little gremlin. Mega Altaria, the only dragon fairy. We've still got one, but we haven't really got it. But, ZA, so we're about to get it back. Probably Asterix, who knows? You know, the character redesigns were great. So one I really like is, I believe, Courtney from Team Magma. The two teams, their redesigns were way, way better to the point where I remember when they were showing off Team Rainbow Rocket for Ultra Sun and Moon, people were like, they're using the original designs because, like, I don't know. I do think out of the two, Team Aqua got the better, like comparative redesign. Like they looked a lot better when than they did before. But like overall, the touch ups were really quite great. Being able to it was nice being able to go through Hoenn again in this new look, right? Getting to hear all these remixed themes was incredible. Getting to use Pokemon in 3D because this was a time before Dexit, but like more Pokemon will be more common than they were in X and Y. And I remember one thing I noticed immediately, like I much preferred the Pokeball throwing animation for when you sent a Pokemon out during a battle than in X and Y. The backgrounds looked a little more 3D from what I remember. There were some points in the game though where things looked really flat. So like, of course, the Gen 3's got quite an iconic opening animation where it's like a little droplet falls in a pond. It pans up. Is pan the right word? The camera goes up and you got to get your character bicycling, cycling along, and then we go to Route 102, 103, where you battle your rival Brandon or May for the first time, and we find out that that little puddle, that little we see inside the game, is actually on that route. But then if you look at it, you look at it, of course, because you can see Mount Chimney from in the distance, but it really looks like a cardboard cutout kind of thing where it kind of looks like a wall it's been painted on, and it really doesn't have that depth. I think should have been there. I mean, this is the 3DS, man. This is where depth was everything. I was playing Etriology Untold the other day, and I turned the 3D on, and it kind of goes in, so it's got this diorama look. It's incredible. I really think they could have gotten that down. So I don't remember what my team was for this game. So I used Mega Sceptile, uh, the shiny Mega Metagross. You got part of an event because there was an episode of the anime, like a special Mega Evolution special, where it was like Alolan and Steven fighting alongside each other. Uh, Mega Camerupt, because I adore Camerupt. I believe the Mega Swampert, I got a lot of these from Wonder Trade. I think I used an Altaria. I can't remember the last one. One really cool thing about these games, I do think the whole scene, right, where they go through their primal reversions is so much cooler than the original games. In my one, you go this deep ocean, you're riding on Kyogre's back, right, and you battle it, and have these big hanging crystals that glow so amazingly right, as it primal reverts evolve. There, I don't know, but it's a cool scene. Even cooler with Groundhog because you're wading through magma, man. That is so cool, And like the battle theme is so good as well because like I like the idea because with the reversion, right? They played with that. It was a bit funny because obviously they have a remix theme, but then little bits of the Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald version of their theme. I think it's called Battle Super Ancient Pokemon. It was really great, and then when you got to the whole Delta episode, which was really great because because it's an issue. Sorry, with like the remakes is like are they, the question is why are they remaking Ruby and Sapphire? Why aren't they just remaking Emerald? But they include these hints and nods to the third version. In Hardcore and Soul Silver, it was having the whole Suicune crest rebattle Eugene, Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl. You get the battle Giratina from what the Pow Park became. I can't remember the name of it. Um, and then this was the Dower episode. So getting this extra little story add-on was really quite great. Great. I'm getting the two words, like a cheese grater. Anyway, was really quite amazing. And then, of course, as I mentioned, Zinnia's beam is great. Her bow is super cool. I like how in the manga they contextualized that the Salamence that attacked Ruby at the start was her Salamence, so it's kind of this full circle bit if you've read the manga, that, and like the whole scene when you're riding on the back of Rayquaza and you go to battle Deoxys, that was nuts at the time, right? Because obviously the whole scene of going to space, because we always theorized that you're in Moss Teeth City, you'd touch the right rock and you'd go to space, or you go to space through the space shuttle or something. Like, it was such a heavy space thing because you're like a Soul Rock and Lunatone. It was so cool to be able to go there on the back of a Mega Rayquaza, mind you, to battle a mythical Pokemon. This was the first time a mythical Pokemon, I believe, was just kind of available in the main story. I know it's post-game, but you get what I mean, right? And then they made this question, what's it mean to be a mythical Pokemon? Because we just got Deoxys, but that's not part of an event. It's still banned, illegal play, apart from one season they did in Sword and Shield, I believe, which was neat. They should do that again. But it was incredible. And, it was so cool. A lot of other memories with this game. So, Oris was when I delved into competitive Pokemon for the first time. I worked really hard to get a competitive team. I went to nationals at one point, and I got bodies, man. I won 3 games. I lost 3 games. I say body. It was a really difficult tournament because they kind of messed up the timing. So we were waiting like an hour between rounds. But I have a lot of memories in this game, talking to my friend, building up my competitive teams, getting it all ready, going to the nationals, competing. It was a lot of fun. It was a cherished memories. I have so many stories from that like 2 day trip. It was great, and I shiny hunted a lot in this game as well. Like I got a lot. You will see some of those shiny hunting videos on this account. If you got older, when my voice is all squeaky before I got deep, or my my voice sounds deeper to me than it probably sounds to you because I hit something like you know the reverb or something. It goes through your body, you hear it differently, whatever. But I do have some woes that happen with me with this game. So I spent a lot of time in it, like getting all my competitive Pokemon, getting all my shiny Pokemon. Then there was one day I went to a Pokemon club and I turned my game on and my save file was gone. No one had touched the game other than me, but something happened and my games just deleted its save data. This was really quite soul crushing because I had boxes and boxes of shinies that I hunted for. I had all these competitive Pokemons. I had Pokemon. I had my Station Park Pachirisu that I got from going to nationals. And keep in mind, like 10 minutes before this happened, I was like going on about how much I loved Hoenn and I really liked these games, and that happened. It was really upsetting, but I didn't let it defeat me. Right, I decided to play all the way through the game again and beat the national Pokedex again. So I did it. I was like, cool. It's like a victory lap. We're doing it again. Guess what happened? It deleted itself again. And what stung about this was that a chunk of Pokemon for this new national dex was some shinies, like a shiny Gourgeist I traded over for my other games. So I have some extra shinies there who were just lost to whatever's, like, I don't know, has anyone else had this where the Aurus kind of just deletes itself? Because it happened to me, and it made I was quite scared to play the games again. I do remember I did go back to the game, and I played through like 7 hours in one go, and somehow that entire time I forgot to save, so I lost like 7 hours of gameplay, and I don't think I've touched the game since. Oh no, I was doing another playthrough, but I got too into the deck snap and didn't get anything done, so I stopped playing. So Oris was a great remake. Really liked it. I do actually want to go back to it soon, I think. I have a lot of good memories in it, a lot of very cherished memories, but I also, of course, with it deleting itself, have a lot of kind of bitter memories. As a remake, really fun, and I think overall, I mostly do cherish the time I had with this game. Yeah. Let's open it up and see what's inside. Cosplay Pikachu's so cute. I just remembered I do love a cosplay Pikachu. The bell, I believe, is my favorite. Why is there two of them? Huh. I I don't know why there's two. We're just gonna ignore that for now and have a look at the includes. Nothing. There is nothing other than just generic little. Hey, look, it's these two games. We like these games. Love this. It's my favorite Zelda game, mostly because it's the only Zelda game I was able to beat without a guide. Smash Bros. 3DS. I played that so much. I actually prefer it over the Wii U version because I appreciate portability, and it hurts my neck when I look at the TV screen. I just prefer playing in bed. And then the other stuff. What cool art, by the way. Like, it reminds me of the art they have in, I believe, Granite Cave. It's actually impeccable. It's so wonderful, right? It's so great. Oh, of course, we got Mega Ordino in this game. Love Ordino with all of my heart and soul. So very glad we got Mega Ordino from these games. It's already been half an hour. My God. And next we have the namesake of this channel now, Alola. As the name intends. Like, believe it or not, this channel isn't just called Alola Love for no reason. I Love Alola is genuinely a daily phrase for me because it's something I think about so much in the games that I I really do adore. Alola is something really special to me. It's not even necessarily because I got any particularly like fond memories with Alola. It's just like I've always kind of liked Hawaii, right? Like I grew up on Lilo and Stitch, so I really enjoy kind of the idea of the island culture from that. And I was trying to remember, trying to think of like, why did I like Lilo and Stitch so much? And I thought about like little creatures that came out, little marble ball things. It's like Pokemon. That's probably why I grew to like it so much. But like, I always loved how the Hawaiian language sounds, right? And I've watched a lot of videos about like the country and the issues, the good things, the bad things, you know. But like, I really like Hawaii and this idea of um, being connected to those around you, being connected to the island, and that really is something that they kind of, I think, really nice. Like I can't say much. I'm not Hawaiian. I'm British, right? But based on my outsider view, I really did love, really, really adore the themes they had in this game of, people and Pokemon together, connected, working hard together, which we saw through the anime, right? There's all people always have Pokemon around them, just living their daily lives, like around the start, you see that like every now and again Peck fly through like Howley City, and they show their appreciation for Pokemon and sharing the space with them. They give them the berries. I just love this idea, this vibe of connection that people in Pokemon share in this region. It just makes me really happy. Well, go through Moon first, since this was my main copy, because I'm a little gothy at heart and big Moon Bat. Like, I'm not gonna bring sunlight over Big Moon Bat. I remember when this game was coming out, and there was so many cool things about it. Like, yeah, Rotom Pokedex was really cool when we first saw about it. Oh, I'm hoping not breaking anything. And like finding out that the game took place on multiple islands. Like we like I remember people were talking about a lot. Like we wanted a Pokemon game that took place on multiple islands, and that was something this game fulfilled, and it was really cool. One thing about Alola is great is that so it was the first Pokemon game that wasn't like chipified. It was so I want to mention this really quick. I think it's funny that my Pokemon Moon has sun damage. Um, but first game wasn't chipified and everything. We're talking about the characters in the overworld. The overworld was more fully formed. I thought so going from X and Y, which I understand to a lot of people has its own charm, right? In this chipified look. I always thought it looked a little like I wasn't ever like massive on it. But seeing everyone kind of fully formed, fully like sized on the 3DS was like crazy to me. And like people complain that Pokemon games are really linear. There's not much exploration. But I feel like at least on like Melemele Island, there's quite a decent amount to go around and mess around one. So it was like my birthday recently, and I thought one thing I like to do on each of my birthdays is go on a Pokemon game and get a little birthday message. And since I love Alola so much, I wanted to do it on Moon. And I just messed around on like the early parts of Melemele Island. I went to like Hau'oli City, I believe so, which I think it means warm for happiness in Hawaiian or something. It's a nice sounding word. And like I spent like a good hour and a half, 2 hours just messing around Hau'oli. It's like a lot of little events that happen there that are kind of just fun to walk around and like I walk around and do. And then that was my PS5 for sure. I'm sorry. And then like there's the music um of Alola, which really resonates with me. Like or like Iki Town. I love Iki Town's vibe so much. I can listen to it for hours and hours. I can't listen to Iki Town Night as much because it makes me emotional. I'm a grown man who cries about Pokemon, especially the anime rendition of Iki Town Night, like in Pokemon Journeys, right? When Ash went back to Alola, which I will be talking about the Alola anime, don't you worry. Um, um, and he meets Lei for the first time, like Burnett and a Kukui's child, and they plays the nighttime Iki Town theme, and it just broke me down because the theme's so nice. It's such a sweet scene. Anyway, I really, really love Alola. So of course, it's like I said, Kalos is a really nice region. Lola's a really lovely region. The way they show off like different parts of the culture and how people interact with it, and like and the interesting way of interaction was like when you got to the second island. So was it no the third island? So it's Menemele, Ula Ula. I can't remember the names right now. But you go to the third island, you see a town that's been very inspired by Johto, because like from what I understand, a lot of Japanese people go to Hawaii for like holidays, so kind of makes sense that so many people going to another region in this case, it kind of gets formed around by them. So from what I understand, my geography isn't great, but I'm pretty sure Hawaii's like in between Japan and America, so it's kind of got influences from both, and the way they show that in Pokemon. Um, Team Skull are wonderful. One of my favorite teams ever. They're just a bunch of hooligans who just need a bit of support, man. They just need a bit of help. That was lovely. And then we got Luzamine, the she's crazy, and we love her for it. I love Luzamine. She's great, and Olivia, another great character. You know, and then the Pokemon Rowlet. I'm in love with Rowlet. I have like pretty much a life size Rowlet plush my parents got for me my birthday one year that I adore. Right, this little chubby owl with a bow tie. I love owls, and I like at the time I was really kind of like I found it funny. There was like a lot of memes at the time, like fancy gentleman type stuff. So like that influenced me as well. And I got a little top hat for the Rowlet. I really, really adore Rowlet so much. And then Decidueye, like I mentioned, I don't know in this video, at least in the previous video, my three favorite types are Ghost, Grass, and Fairy. And Decidueye is two of those, and it's a starter, a Ghost type starter. That is ridiculously cool. And then there's Bigable, this Railgun Stag Beetle that for some reason has like a base 145 special attack. That's nuts, even if you can't evolve until like the end of the game. And there's Mimikyu. We all love Mimikyu. Which is funny because when it first got announced, for like the first day after it was announced, people did not like Mimikyu because they thought, "Oh, it's another Pikachu clone. This is stupid." Um, Here I am to go. I liked it before it was cool, but like, I understood the story immediately. I immediately fell in love with it, and then obviously everyone figured it out as well. And when we all love Mimikyu now, when they made that little Mimikyu dial song, right, where he just wants to be loved as Mimikyu. Oh, I adore Mimikyu. Who else did I use on the teams? That's three of them. I used the Salazzle purely because it just fit well, and the team typing wise. Used Komodo because Komodo like a dragon fighting type. Just saying that it sounds cool. I really do like Komodo, and then I can't remember. Oh, Wishy-Washy. As soon as I saw Wishy-Washy leaked in Korokoro, I was like, oh, this cute little thingy. I have to go on my team. And then we found out that its schooling form is so powerful. It's got like a base out of 620. I had to use it. You know, it's just a fun design. I tried to make it work on Pokemon Showdown after like I played the game. Didn't work. Just Alola has a lot there for me, like the vibe of the island, the music. Yeah, we get the battle Red and Blue again. Like I'm not a massive Gen 1 fan. It's one of my least favorite generations, really. I do appreciate it because it set the groundwork for Pokemon, and of course I'm never not going to appreciate that. And I spent a lot of time with Gen 1 media, like the anime. That's how I initially got into the anime. I was like 4. I got obsessed with it. But like anyway, being able to see them older, like this idea, like characters aging for the Pokemon games, is really cool because this was a 20th uh anniversary celebration of Pokemon, right? That's why we had Annabelle come back, you know, as a part of the the international Pokemon police, you know. And the Ultra Beasts, they're nuts, right? They're proper nuts. You see how like they're designed based on invasive species of like in general, right? It was a really fun way of doing it, and the way they designed them to kind of go against Pokemon design philosophy. I do remember. Oh, sorry, it's not the camera. I do remember there were some people who weren't happy that the Ultra Beasts were catchable because they swore so alien, of course, for a Pokemon game, right? But like, well, Pokemon cool. Pokemon make me happy. I don't care. You know, Ultra Beasts are cool. They got funny stats, right? Some of them are quite min-max. You got like Pheromosa, and then you got Buzzwole. A fun thing people like to point out about Pheromosa and Buzzwole is that mosquitoes, the bigger ones, are female, so they're a nice little Yuri couple. Um, and then like Neoligo is such like it's just a little freak of the thing. I can't help but love it. Your poison rock or like an odd type that you probably like. What type would you get from Neoligo when you first look at it? Maybe like ice, not rock poison. Rock poison is a freakazoid type, as clear by Neoligo and Glimmet and Glamora. All great Pokemon, but they are freakazoids. And then you got Kartana with like base 181 attack. This little thing. It's nuts. It's probably like this big. I think it's like that big. It's like that big, right? Alola has so much in it. The music's amazing. I love Kukui's um lab theme so much. Like I'm doing a PhD, and if I, for whatever reason, get my own lab, I'm telling you right now, it's gonna have Kukui's theme playing in it. You know, me getting a PhD is just a Pokemon reference, really, to me. But like the music's incredible. The story, I understand, I get it, right? That Alola stops you a lot. And yes, as a person with with ADHD, it's annoying. But at the same time, seeing like Lily grow as a character, right, and the whole scene where Nebby evolves fully into Solgaleo or Nulala really is like a very special thing in these games, and then you get to catch it. It's very very cool. Overall, really, really do adore Alola with all my heart and soul. And I just remembered I haven't talked about the anime yet, as if this video wasn't long enough. Sun and Moon is my favorite Pokemon anime by far. So I know people complain about the animation. Those people can shut up. The animation, I remember when Sun and Moon got shown like the first trailer for it, right? Um, uh, Animators were going nuts. Like, this is really cool because I don't fully understand it, but they had like a new technology that helped with the animation, which helped these really expressive, fluid animations, right? That were very emotive. And I really appreciated that. As a person who's grown up on Pokemon and watched the anime for a long time, like the characters, they can be expressive, don't get me wrong, but like it tends to be a little more stiff. But then when we saw the fluidity of how their facial expressions, like I really uh I like art, and like I really really love expressions, and seeing how expressive like I Pikachu and Ash are. Like I've often said, I think Pikachu and Ash are more expressive, probably in the first episode of Sun and Moon, more expressive in the first episode of Sun and Moon than they have been for the majority of the Pokemon anime. Just on the depth of facial emotions they can show and do, right? That, and one thing I really love about the Alola anime is something I mentioned about Lola. I love the sense of community it builds. In other Pokemon anime, Ash has traveled across the regions. He's made friends, but they you don't tend to see them again, do you? Other than maybe like Sawyer, his rivals, But in Alola, a proper got like a main cast of characters, right? Who are reoccurring, who you could like you see every now and again. It really made Alola feel quite alive. And this also being Ash in a slice of life setting was so nice to me. Because like we see him doing all these like nuts things in the movies and all that, but we need to remember he is just a 10-year-old kid. So when he's faced with the simple idea of just using a washing machine, he messes it up. Boy, he hasn't used a washing machine. He washes his clothes in rivers. you know so I thought this was a really fun opportunity to see a new aspect of this character we've seen for so long. And like the island challenge is really fun. I remember people complaining about um Hariyama's all-out pummeling um in his first uh island, it's Kahuna battle against Hala. Love Hala, by the way. Outside of the memes, he's just really cool. And be like, people should have knocked it out. So someone did the math on how much that attack bar had to be divided by the amount of arm thrusts to let out. And it made sense that Pikachu wasn't knocked out. But like, they're all so cool. And all of his friends, I know he had a lot of friends, but I do think they were nicely developed. And again, further building this sense of community. And his team was nuts. So of course he has Pikachu. He always has Pikachu. But he got like 10 million Bolt Thunderbolt, which is like busted. And and then he had Incineroar, which I know didn't really battle as Incineroar. It fainted as Torracat, evolved into Incineroar. Rowlet, which never fully evolved, but it had that really funny battle against How. By the way, love How. He's just this, like, people like, we want a mean rival who will spin on our face and be like, no, he's just a lovely little boy. He's just a lovely boy. He's just a nice kid. How, leave How alone. He hasn't done anything wrong. He just enjoys Malasadas and Pokemon. Don't we all just like donuts and Pokemon? you know, he's a good kid. I wish people weren't so harsh on him. And he does face a bit of issues, being the grandson of a Kahuna. That's a lot of pressure, and I like maybe they could have explored that more. And then, the overarching storyline of Lily and seeing someone's genuine trauma come quite a chunk, and how it affects their lives, and the missing father. And I really love how they continue that into journeys where, this loser means not a nut job. She's just a genuinely nice woman. And I do like how in the anime then she actually gets reunited with her husband properly, unlike the games where she sees Mo and he goes, oh hi, how are you doing? He's like, hey, you look familiar. And he's like, no, yeah. And she tries to restart everything again. But no, in the anime, she's a good woman, and she's just a good person, and she gets Moan back, which is really cool. Alola, the anime is just, it means a lot to me. I really, really do love it. It's like a comfort series at this point. It's just got, again, just a wonderful vibe community. The animation's great. I just remembered I didn't finish talking about Ash's team. Naganadel or Naganadel, whatever you want to call it. Super cool Pokemon to include. And then also he had Melmetal. Crazy. He has a mythical Pokemon, which I didn't do a whole lot. Of course, this is the generation where Ash became a champion for the first time. Now I get it. The Mahalo Conference wasn't as good as other Pokemon League esque things. I get it, but he still won. So shut up. There's probably more I could yap about than the anime, but we also do have Ultra Moon here. I guess before we do that, I just realized I should open this up and we'll see inside. The game's not in that, it's in a console right now. So Pokemon Sun and Moon, talk about the card game. I still want to get these two GXs. Oh, of course, Pulverizing Pancake. Which is still one of the funnier animations in Pokemon. Z-Moves, I didn't talk about Z-Moves. Yeah, Z-Moves overall kind of mid by comparison, but we got some really funny animations out of them, right? We got Pulverizing Pancakes, Let's Snuggle Forever, and of course the iconic Xerneas Twinkle Tackle. And then here's the actual Z-Ring you can get. Obviously, it probably wouldn't fit on my fat adult arm, but I've always wanted to get a Z-Ring just because I like the Z crystals mostly, and I think the Z Ring's cool. I really love Alola. But and we have a little more included in here. eShop. Oh my god. Oh, there's games here that I want to talk about at some point. Does that go out anymore? No, that's fully open. My Nintendo, probably when you can still get rewards. I got a Mario the question mark block from before, like the Kirby Triple Deluxe soundtrack. What colours really? Barely used it. The Badge Arcade was really cool. Wait, what's that Legend of Kusakari? Kusakakari. Pocket Card Jockey, another Game Freak game. Pokemon Shuffle, got it on my phone now. Push Block, I got that game. Terrible at it because I'm terrible at puzzles. Bunch more games here. Of course, got Sun and Moon. Oh, Yokai Watch. I adore Yokai Watch so much, and I'll probably make a video talking about my love for Yokai Watch. Bunch of other games have re-released for Red and Blue, which at the time, I mean, I think it's still crazy since it's still not often they re-release Pokemon games like that. They just don't. But yeah, no, seriously, if it wasn't clear, I really love Alola. And I could probably rant about even more, but this video is almost an hour. Damn. And then, not a whole lot more to say about Ultra Sun and Moon. The inclusion of Team Rainbow Rocket, of course, was very cool. Their inclusion was very cool. Extra post-game stuff. Also didn't open this. Bit of a Lola, the bottom part of it. There's a question whether Ultra Sun and Moon were really necessary. Ultra Necrozma is cool, and it really is a shame that we've never seen it again. I do think that's unfortunate. Because it's locked behind mechanic. And of course, obviously, a Dynamax is gone. I mean, we can use a Dynamax anyway. But there's worries now, of course, for Terrapagos and Ogerpon, that their forms, we're not going to see them again, right? Because they're locked behind mechanic. That is a genuine worry, right? Because that means these Pokemon can't be used to their fullest, and I think that's really unfortunate. But yeah, Ultra Sun and Moon, one of the main things I think about when I think of this game, looking at the blatant advertisement, let's go. They always do stuff like this, right? Without us noticing, so then we feel stupid when the next games come out, and the references to the next game are clearly there. Anyway. Ultra Sun and Moon were fine games. I've seen people say they ruined the story. I haven't got a whole lot of opinions, but I kind of get what people mean. The gameplay, this game, people say they want a hard Pokemon game. You want a hard Pokemon game? Play Ultra Sun and Moon. You want to make it harder? Play what the experience share. I did a playthrough like that once. My whole team was only at level 40 for the Ultra Necrozma fight, which is funny. I did cheese it. So my team, I can't remember it all. This wasn't my first playthrough. But another playthrough, I know I had Shiinotic I had like Araquanid, and I used some X items, right? And then I finagled the fight in a way that my Araquanid was not one shot by Ultra Necrozma, but hung on just a bit. I used Miracle on one shot Ultra Necrozma. But if you want a harder Pokemon game, by all means, play Ultra Sun and Moon. Or if you want a proper hard experience, play without the experience share. Like the totem fights, which I haven't said anything about. Not a lot of opinions there, but the totem fights are very cool. One thing that, okay, here we go. One thing that really, really frustrated me with the Pokemon community at this time was that before the release of these games, people were like, we want something that's not gyms. We don't want gyms. We want something new. They gave us something new with Sun and Moon. But then people were constantly going on then, going, we want gyms back. We want gyms back. I'm like, you're telling them one thing, and then they do it, and then you're telling them the other. It's kind of really annoying, right? But the totem fights were really cool to me, and honestly, I found them more difficult than most gym battles anyway. Just a couple of Pokemon is incredible. Like Pokemon, like people mean on Pokemon being a children's game, and I understand like it can be very simple, but like hard Pokemon can be really, really hard when they dig a bit deeper into those mechanics. And I think they did that with the Ultra games in Sun and Moon, which make them like deeper experiences on a gameplay level. Of course, this was also the first time that they introduced new Pokemon mid-generation. You know, like Stack Attacker, Blacephalon. Stack Attacker to me is probably the funniest name of one of the funniest names of any Pokemon. Like Fido. Fido's great. But Stack Attacker, that's such a silly guy. He's like base 211 defense. He's nuts. But yeah, Ultra's alright. Oh, we got Poipole, of course, as well. I'm not gonna tell. Oh, Ash's final Pokemon I didn't mention. Lycanroc. Lycanroc is very cool. But Alola really is such a. Where's that supposed to be? I'm not sure. It's probably not lost. Anyway, going over the extra bits, they made an extra Z ring, which unlocked extra Z moves to different Pokemon. Like Rock got his extra Z move. I think Komodo. I think Mimikyu did. But yeah, no. So like in terms of like doing stuff with Sun and Moon, like I mentioned, I did a lot of stuff with Aurorus competitive wise. Didn't really do that for Ultra Sun and Moon, but it's just like if Pokemon was real, I would live in Alola, but I would move to Galar every now and again to do the League Challenge, then go back to Alola. Alola is just a region, and Gen 7 is just a gen I really, really do adore with all of my soul. I cannot express enough how much I care about these games and how happy they make me, and it's kind of unfortunate because I feel like Alola doesn't get a lot of love. They're not going to go through all that. It looks to be exactly the same. Also, really mid Pokemon set from what I remember. And then finally, to cap off the video, we'll just have a look inside this case. There's the game. Cool, there it is. Maybe I'll do a video where I just go through each of my saves and explain what's going on in them. Kind of a really weird steel case inside, you know? Kind of a proper weird one, like. Oh, I forgot to mention other characters I really like in Kalos. Drasna, we love Drasna. Is there any from Alola that I'm not remembering? There's Luzerne, love Hala, we love Hala. Kukui's great. Kukui's such a cool professor. Oh, that's one thing I wanted to mention about him really, really quick. How Kukui and Burnett became like an extra family for Ash, right? And how Alola really did become like a secondary home for him. And this makes me emotional. Think about it, it's just so sweet. You know, because when in Journeys, when he comes back to Alola, he's like, Kukui's like, welcome home. It's just, I love Alola so much. And I probably could get more, but this video is like an hour long. So, yeah, really weird inside case. If you're nuts enough to have listened for this long, well, you're nuts. But I guess thank you for listening to me yap more about my video games, my copious amount of Pokemon video games. Anyway, this has been a long video. I've got more to talk about today, but I'll see you later.